Okay, welcome in. So I've put together a little compilation of some pictures that I've saved on my phone. Just going to be scrolling through them and just discussing the NFL awards, which just happened on Thursday evening. So unfortunately, I'm like a day and a half behind when it comes to uploading. So all season long, we've been speculating about who the MVP of the league is, and no surprise here, it went to Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills, getting his first MVP, and I'm sure if he can keep this up, I'm sure he'll be in talks of MVP categories for many seasons to come. So you can see most valuable player there. Josh Allen would finish with a total of 40 total touchdowns, 3,731 passing yards, and 531 rushing yards. So the guy is turning into a bit of a dual threat, to say the least. There's a picture of Josh Allen getting his MVP trophy, looking a little slick. Eric Armstead would win the Walter Payton Man of the Year. Now, with any award, it's going to be nice to be recognized for your play on the field, but your play off the field shows just about how true of your it just shows your true characters and everything that you do for your community. I guess it really stands out. So I know each team had one nominee for Walter Payton of the Year, and I'm sure there were 31 other candidates that probably deserve this. But again, I'm sure when it comes to winning this one, this is definitely means is more meaningful than winning like MVP or Rookie of the Year and stuff like that. So yeah, when it comes to the Walter Man of the Year, that's one kind of like it's more sentimental than the other ones, if that makes any sense. So there's all sorts of talk and speculation as to who should have been and who could have been Coach of the Year, but the winner would go to Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings. He had 14 wins, and it was their second best record in franchise history. So you think about how long the Minnesota Vikings have been in the National Football League, and this guy managed to turn this team into a competitive, not only competitive, but who knows where their future is going forward. And if it wasn't for the Detroit Lions, they could have had first place in the National Football Conference, and they could have possibly had home field advantage. But because the Lions had one more win than they did, they unfortunately did drop to a wild card position. So, any other division in the league, if you had 14 wins, you were more than likely going to have home field advantage. But that NFC North was just stacked with a lot of really good teams, and there's no reason why he couldn't have won Coach of the Year. So, congratulations, Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings. So, they have four players that are going to be entering the Hall of Fame. I will get back into the awards in just a second. Jared Allen, he played for Minnesota, Kansas City, Chicago, and Carolina. Now, it's kind of crazy how certain players can get nominated right away and other players take forever to get into the Hall of Fame. Now, I will talk about a certain player here at the end of these four pictures. But Jared Allen last played for Carolina in the 2015-16 season. They would go all the way to the Super Bowl, but unfortunately they would lose. So he had no choice but to ride out in the sunset on a losing note. But I'm sure he was a great guy on and off the field. So congratulations to Jared Allen. He will be living in Canton forever. Eric Allen, the cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles, the New Orleans Saints, and the Oakland Raiders. I don't know too much about Eric Allen, so please don't uh, give me too much of a hard time if I don't have a lot of stats on this guy, but congratulations for entering the Football Hall of Fame. Antonio Gates, now this is a guy I kind of grew up watching. Now, from Denver's side, he always seemed to have our number from time to time, but he technically played for one franchise, but because they relocated, he played for both San Diego and obviously the Los Angeles Chargers before entering or before retiring. So congratulations to Antonio Gates, first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. Had a hell of a career, and I'm sure he set a few records from time to time. So again, a big congratulations to Antonio Gates. Now, speaking of waiting a long time to get into the Hall of Fame, Sterling Sharp, infamously known for his brother's obviously a little bit more well known, and obviously being a Broncos fan, and I, I know a little bit about Shannon. There was a very nice moment. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it is on YouTube, I'm pretty sure, where Shannon invited Sterling over to his place, and then he went down to the basement, and then he basically welcomed him into the Hall of Fame. Now, there was talk about how these two are the first brothers to get into the Hall of Fame, but I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure Eli Manning is in the Hall of Fame. If he isn't, he's guaranteed to be joining Peyton as well. So if Eli's not in the Hall of Fame, I guess it would make sense to say that Sterling Sharpe and Shannon Sharpe are the first brothers in the National Football League, but I could have sworn Eli got in last year. But again, I could be wrong on that note. For Sterling Sharpe, he had a shortened career. I think he only played 7 seasons with Green Bay, and unfortunately, he went down, or he had no choice but to retire due to injuries towards the end of his career. So a very short career. I'm sure he could have possibly had a long and more meaningful career. But again, due to injuries, his career did cut short. But it's kind of nice that he's been retired now for well over 3 decades, or almost 3 decades, and finally getting the nod that he deserves. So congratulations to Sterling Sharpe and the Sharpe family. So getting back to the awards, Jayden Daniels, you can see looking nice. I got to admit, that's a really nice coat. I really like that. No surprise here. There was talk all year about him possibly winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he led this team all the way to the NFC Championship game. So his ceiling can only go up from here. So you can see there's this Jayden Daniels' journey from Heisman winner to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now Jared Verse would win the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's the first Rams Defensive Rookie of the Year since Aaron Donald back in 2014. Hard to believe Donald's been in the league for 10 years. Doesn't time just fly? That's pretty scary. But I'm pretty sure there's some stats here. So you had Jared Verse, Defensive Rookie of the Year, offensive linebacker. He had 66 total tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. So a pretty good start to your NFL career. Joe Burrow would win Comeback Player of the Year. Now, if the Bengals made the playoffs, he would have been in the MVP category because of the number he put up. 4,918 passing yards, 43 passing touchdowns, and 108.5 passer ratings per game. That is unreal. That is MVP numbers there. But because his team didn't play so great around him, you could say the defense was not that great at times. But man, when you put up 43 touchdowns, and if you look at his stats, I did upload a video of the Cincinnati Bengals with my 32 and 32 review. The stats he put up, I'm pretty sure he had less than 10 picks. So 43 to 8, I think, was his ratio for touchdown to interceptions. He had a crazy good season. But again, because they played poorly at times and they didn't start off in the gate on the right note, they evidently fell out of the playoff picture. But again, if the Bengals had finished first in their division or first in the AFC, there's no question he would have, I'm sure, preferred the league MVP trophy. But a trophy is a trophy in this league, and you take what you can get. So congratulations for Joe on the Comeback Player of the Year. No surprise here, Offensive Player of the Year went to Saquon Barkley. 15 total touchdowns, 278 receiving yards, and that infamous 2,000 rushing yard mile. He would finish with 2,005 to be exact. So you can see him in his retro Eagles threads. 2,005 rushing yards, as I previously said, 278 receiving yards, and 15 total touchdowns. So congratulations on Saquon on his first year in Philly. And then to finish things off, Pat Surtain II. Finally, the Denver Broncos got some acknowledgement. Would win Defensive Player of the Year. He would finish with the year with 4 interceptions, a 10% target rate, and 306 receiving yards total. So it's crazy to think that you play 17 games and you only gave up 300 total yards. It just goes to show how dominant you really are. And just like a lot of players, their ceiling can only go up from here. And I couldn't be more proud to have a guy like that on the team that I grew up cheering for. And now that finally, the wheels are kind of in motion right now. So hopefully this team can get better. The defense can get better. And Pat Surtain II, you're going to have a hell of a career as long as you stay healthy. Fingers crossed. But yeah, a big congratulations out to PS2. I couldn't be happier as a Broncos fan, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I love this guy. And yeah, here's to hope for many more dominant seasons on the defensive side of things. All right, that's going to take care of the NFL awards for the 2024-25 season. The next video that I will be uploading will be the review for Super Bowl 59. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.